Hello, my name is Katie and welcome to my channel, Duck Potatoes World. This is Weaving with Beatrix. That is my 2-shaft 36-inch floor loom. And I am going to be making a scarf, and I am going to try to document this entire process from start to finish and make a little video to put up for you guys. So I am going to start with making a warp. I'm going to wind a warp. I need about a 3-yard warp. And this self-striping yarn from Hot Springs Fiber Company is what I'm going to use for my warp. The base is a Magic Merino Sport, which is a superwash merino wool. And it is dyed in the colorway Shell Shocked. And yeah, so let's wind a 3-yard warp today. So the first thing I need to do is find the end of the yarn, which is always a bit of a trick. There we go, found it. All right, and my plan is to do 104 warp ends in a 3-yard warp. So that's 1 yard, 2 yards, 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards. So that should be 3 yards. And there's where I'm building my cross, right there. So I am not perfect at this by any stretch of imagination, but I do find it really peaceful once I get into a good rhythm, which it can take me a few tries to do. And see, I can already tell I have miscrossed something somewhere. Usually it takes me a few tries to get into that rhythm. Once I get there, it's good. Let's see, where did I miscross something? No, you need to go over. So there's my cross. Okay, try that again. Maybe this should go under both. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Once I get going though, and I follow my own path right, it can be a very smooth, kind of relaxing experience. Watch for any knots because I don't want any knots in my warp. And at some point I'm going to start a counter. I need 104 warp ends. So top or bottom I can count either spot, but that's going to be half. So I can count here, a half of 104 is 52, or I can count up here. But I'm going to be going for 52, and that will be my full count. So that's 5, what I just did there, or which is 10 when you double it, 5 of 52. So I have 51 warp threads wound. I had some trouble in several spots where the yarn had plies that were broken or the yarn was just broken. So I had to waste quite a bit. This is basically my missing warp end in pieces here on the floor, but I have some of the weft from a previous scarf left over, so I'm just going to make my last warp thread from this color. It is very similar to, if not exactly, a color that's already in that warp, and that will be my last warp end. Not coming off very smoothly because it is on a stick shuttle, not on a ball or anything that wants to come unwound easily. That's okay. It'll work out. And there we go. So I'll double check. I have my counting thread flipping every 5 rows down here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 52. So I do have 52 warp ends like I was expecting. Which is perfect, that's what I need. So now I need to tie this so it will be secure when I take it off the warping board. So the first thing I'm going to secure is this cross right in here. So that is the most important thing. That's the whole reason I wound this warp, was to secure that cross right there. So I'm going to tie it off first to make sure that I don't lose it. So I want to make sure I get behind all the threads back there. Which I am having trouble doing, apparently. There we go. Yeah, so I have all of my cross inside, and I'll tie that off first. All right, and then I'm also going to tie above and below. So because I have all these ends, I need to make sure I get in all there, in all those little loops where I had to, where my warp got cut. So I'm gonna go get a darning needle, and that will make that easier. Anyway, so I'm going to make sure I get inside all the loops, including that first loop where I started, where I have ends. That way I catch everything. I'm going to tie off both ends. Same thing up here. I had an end break on this end of my warp, so I'm going to make sure I catch that one too. Okay, so that's the minimum number of ties you need to make. I'm going to make a lot more than that though. I'm just going to use some of this warp that broke and tie in a few more places just so that it stays nice and together. Sorry about all the knocking sounds, y'all. Some bump in the wall. So I have a tie on each side there, and I'll go ahead and put a tie on each side on this side of the cross. All right, and then I'll probably put just another one right here in the middle around the whole thing. Just for good measure. I want it to be secure and tidy. There we go. So once you have enough ties on that you are comfortable it's not going to go anywhere, then you can take it off and you just sort of run it like a crochet loop. And I'm just going to like hand crochet it so that it just stays together. Hopefully I'm in the frame and you can see what I'm doing. Just pulling it up through itself. And there we go, that's my end. So there is my warp for my scarf. And thanks for watching.